Let's go. Let's go. I've been inspired to start my motivational speaking career just due to the lay of the land and what I've seen going on in the social sphere, all the darkness, all the lies, all the manipulation, and then to be the person who is responsible for the aftermath as a psychiatrist who also does therapy and has these conversations. I have to literally talk to that person after profound trauma, whether that be molestation, abuse, marital issues, family issues, physical issues, health issues. So I'm deeply convicted to do something and to say something about how to actually live life in a more improved fashion. And it took a lot for me to actually get here. And when I think about that word conviction, I want to reframe what that means. So to tie it into what I talk to and talk through with people is motivation, right? What is the motive of your life? What's the direction? What's the intention of what you are trying to do? And if you do not have that, if you're not inspired by it, driven, disciplined, consistent, then you, my friend, have not built the necessary conviction that you need, which is coming from a lack of understanding on what is going on within you. So I'm here to simply help you discover that you already have everything that you need within you. The kingdom is right here. The dominion of which you feel like a king or a queen is already inside of you. And whenever we access that, we rise to higher and higher and higher levels from the inside out. And then your outside world will then begin to reflect the inside world. It doesn't happen the other way around. I've done therapy for millionaires, highly successful people who travel. They do all of that. Their worlds are taken care of. They come from trust funds and all that, and their lives and their minds are weak. So, just because the outside is heaven does not mean the inside is going to be the same. The outside can be heaven and the inside can be hell, versus the opposite can be true. Your outside can be hell and your inside can be absolute heaven. And that's the strength that we have been given. Now, for me to expand on the conversation here a little bit, we have to drive your awareness to see the absolute power, the beauty, your capacities at their absolute highest level revealed, versus and next to, in contrast, is the power here to how horrifically terrible your pathetic, measly life can be if you do not engage in what you know that you should do. And I think we're all familiar with this. I know that I am. You've got that idea, you got that dream, or you know that you should eat right, sleep right, treat others kind, all the above. And what do? You accept a lesser standard for yourself. And that is a very slippery slope, my friend. And you find yourself decreasing by 0.5%, 0.25%, 0.1%. Over the course of weeks to months to years will deplete you and get you stuck in the rut that you're in, that you're trying to escape. And this is the game that the devil plays. And if you don't like that terminology, chaos is totally fine. It is going to take its time. It will move very slowly, very effectively, and very efficiently to wear you down. And this is why I love the concept of the devil. If there were something out there that is highly intelligent, consistent, effective, and knows you better than you know you, and it has a plan to wear you down, what would it actually do? And I have this conversation with everybody who walks through my office door to help them bring light to it. Of course, I would come for your health. Of course, I would come for your relationships, your marriage. Of course, I would come for your passions and your gifts. Of course, I would come for literally anything I could use to begin to wear you down and break you down without you realizing it. So the word insidious here is very important, which means most people find themselves in a depression or a rut or broken or abused or addicted or on pornography or on drugs or whatever. They didn't get there on purpose. You don't just wake up here one day and beforehand you're totally fine. There's a slow whittling. And my job is to keep people from getting to that point before it ever happens, which is why I made the transition to psychiatry and talking about mental health and spirituality and motivation, because I kept seeing people go down these pathways and now they're drowning in the river. And whenever you're doing medicine or surgery or ER, like you're jumping into the river to try to save these people when they're drowning, versus I wanted to go upriver, upstream, to see why are people jumping into the river in the first place? How are they getting there? And it is because they don't understand what they're getting in. It seems casual, it seems relaxed, and slowly it picks up pace and it gets more and more aggressive. Next thing you know, you're hitting rapids and wham, you're in the depths of an addiction. Or you're so far off of the path that you know that you're capable of, you can't even begin to see it. And now you're being tumbled around, spun around, and your mind is scrambled and lost. Or even just not what it could be slightly, because both of those things are repugnant to me and they disgust me. Whew. So it started for me. Whenever I was in cardiology as a medical student and I saw these people that literally, we could fix all of your issues. We fix all the medications, whatever, give you a brand new heart. And this person could go down the road and keep being an asshole, right? So we didn't even really help the world. We just prolonged someone else to stay alive but not live and actually improve the situation. So well, that's stupid. Well, let me jump into a way that I can actually impact another person whilst also impacting myself, to give myself the chills and then give somebody else the chills, to find myself in flow and to know that I'm helping not just that person, but everybody that person ever meets. Let's do it. And it all started with that conversation with my own self, because I wasn't this guy at the beginning, right? I was a regular person. And I distinctly remember looking at people in their hospital beds as a very young man, which I was honored to do. In hindsight, at the time, I did not like it. To look at another grown human being, a grown individual, melting in a hospital bed, organs failing with nothing but horror, pain, and fear behind their eyes, and regret because they know that they brought this upon themselves and they did not live the life that they should have or could have. And they disappointed themselves and everybody else around them. So the number one regret that people have when they're hitting that deathbed is regrets. And as a deeply empathetic individual, I got to sit there and to feel that experience from numerous human beings. And when I begin to express the absolute horror of that, I can't even get close. It's just this shocked back, pulled back, like, oh my God, it's happening. And it's really, what can I do? Get this or that. And they're trying to maintain that it's cool and it's calm, that they're ready, and they're absolutely not. And the reason that this bothered me so much was because of my own relationship with life and death. And I realized that this person is simply just a mirror for me, because I'm just like them. I'm lazy, I procrastinate, I don't know what I'm doing. There are gifts that I have that I know that I'm not delivering. I'm unconfident. All of the above health practices are not where they need to be. So I knew that my fate was destined for these sad bastards. We're on the same path, and I did not realize it, but this at the time was God Almighty talking to me. And answering my particular prayer of, get me into my best life, closer to heaven and away from this particular hell that I've been living, mental illness, addiction, so on and so forth. And with this realization came the understanding. We have got to start making that change now, dear brother, dear sister. And I will start this off with positive psychology, which means that we must be attracted to something that's so powerful, so magnetic, so attractive to us, that it's pulling us that way from its sheer magnificence and beauty, wonder, and awe. The feelings that we have associated with an almighty and all-powerful inspiration in God. And most people are just like, it's whatever, it's my dreams. It's whatever, I guess I could be this. The only reason that you feel that way is because you have not had a true vision and understanding or a conversation of what that could look like for your life. And I had mine. Once I read the literature, of course. Okay, the same way that I look at all the negativity and pain and suffering in my life. Obviously, we know that's real. It ain't going nowhere. What if I take that same vision, that same understanding, and I drag it aggressively to all the best things and the power and the positives in my life? And I do this with my patients and my clients and my friends and my family. Everybody gets this work, baby. You're in first world America. You're a good looking white guy. You're mixed. You're from a different culture, so you're bringing a whole different level of skills and abilities. You have infinite resources at your fingertips. You have a community and structure around you. You have access to all kinds of degrees, education, grants, scholarships, hustle, entrepreneurship. You can go and make literally whatever you would like, but it has to be something that you truly want. And most people are afraid of describing what they truly want because many a man, many a woman has crumbled from the weight of their own dreams and to feel the pressure of what it could be and to fall short over and over and over again because they simply just lack the skills and the strategy and the consistent vision in order to get it done. So this is what happened to me. I had big dreams as a young man. Who doesn't? And I got slaughtered and smashed into normalcy, into the general population, into status quo, which is exactly what the system wants, to beat you into their mold, into a pulpit so you can be just a regular cog in the machine and do what everybody else is doing. And that makes me sick to my stomach, personally speaking. I just don't like it. It's a life of mediocrity, of being lukewarm, of just whatever, paying taxes till you die. On your tombstone is regular guy, regular girl, didn't do a whole lot. And to me, one of my favorite things is narrative psychology, which means we're all writing a story. We're writing a book. We're making the movie, right? And this is what we have to bring to God at the end of our days. To the final analysis is, what did you do with the life that you had been given? And I want to live a good one. And I want it to be something epic, a book that I want to read, that I actually want to be a part of, that I want to be a main character of. So I would recommend choosing that also. And this eliminates any addiction that you have to TV or video games. Like, dude, what if you get to live the video game? What if, as exciting as the movies are, what if that gets to be your life? And people can't wrap their minds around that. Hence why we're having this conversation in the first place. It's possible for you, but you have to define it and describe it and to write it out and to not hold back and have the willingness to do that. And when you do this, this will set the tone. Everybody's a millionaire. Everybody's a world traveler. Everybody has music and art within them. Everybody's the creator of their intergenerational lineage. Everybody is the healer, the doctor for their family and their familial curses. We can offload all of that. You are the overcomer of the addiction. You are the creator of your kingdom. And we have to practice building that voice within us. And then to really add, to maximize the conviction, to paint that in stark contrast to who are you at your absolute worst, the pains, the weakness, the darkness, the procrastination, all of those seemingly bad things. Like, you think it's bad now. One of my favorite questions, if I want to get people motivated, the same question that inspired me. What if nothing changes for 6 months? Also, I can't do even 2 more weeks is crazy. And we're talking 6 months. Okay. You can feel that feeling. You can see what happens, where you would be in your life if you kept doing it. And it's rough. What if nothing changes for 10 years? What if you maintain on this path for 10 more years and nothing changes? It's like, whoa, at that point in time, unfit, obese, if I'm feeling this bad now, I can only imagine in 10 more years of getting older and weaker and more tired, that it's going to be in a very, very dark place. Okay, 30, 40, 50 years. It's like, ooh, talk about scaring the absolute shit out of you and me. If all of the worst of you comes to light and you give in to your demons if you give in to the things that are dragging you down, and then it culminates in, well, what's that going to feel like on my deathbed? Because I'm sorry that the level of anxiety and horror, I couldn't begin to explain how much worse that's going to be than you could possibly fathom. But you need to start to think about it and to fathom it and experience it at an emotional and deep level. This is not cognitive rational thought. This is vision. This is experiential learning. So when I paint that horror and that pain next to the power and the beauty and the magnificence of this life, what I have done is I have created a lightning bolt, right? I have created so much energy, so much motivation, so much drive. Like, I will do anything to get me off of this path of pathetic, weak meagerness and put me on the path of anything better than that, first of all, but absolutely the greatness, the vision that I have been blessed with and given with this one opportunity that I have. And then what this will do for you cognitively, because a plan must be born out of it. Because I love the word motivation, but it fades and we need discipline. We need consistency, a strategy, awareness. So whenever you talk about all the things that weaken you across all domains, health, your purpose in your professional life, your finances, your family, and your passions, you go through each one of these categories. And then now I can see in the moment if something is pulling me that direction even a little bit. And now my sensors get triggered. Wait a minute, this seemingly small thing about me just, being lazy or eating the donut or staying up too late or looking at screens or being distracted, it seems like it's not that big of a deal. But now it snaps in my brain. Wait a minute. This is putting you on the path to that hell. What are you doing, dear brother? You're getting sucked into that river that we talked about. The water is slowly starting. And we're outlasting the equipment. Can't keep up in the sauna. And I'm going to jump back on what I'm assuming was the path, which was just to help build that conviction and to paint the contrast in your life. And to bring this to multiple levels, both intellectual. It's a rational decision, which is free of how I feel about it, that I must commit to the best of me whilst eliminating the worst of me. In service of both myself and other people. And the mission that is so much bigger than I. Then also at an emotional level, I'm experiencing it in my body. It must be done. And to circle back around, everybody has this power already inside of them. I simply came awake to mine because I was responsible for saving people's lives and spirits right in front of me. So I had to lock in. I had to have these conversations when I'm looking at somebody in the ER and they just slit their neck and their wrists and they just come out of an overdose and they're like, what's going on with life? And I'm the one that they're looking at. So I have that wisdom in me, that practice, that process that was gifted to me. And at the time I was horrified of it. I was terrified, scared of being able to walk into that room. But all that you can do is to lock in and to uplift a human being across from you. And as I've done that, I've become an expert at having that conversation with me and along with everybody else around me, and then watching people ignite, to watch lightning strike and someone rise up out of the depths, off the gutter, off the addictions, and go and create their own business, build their own life, and do something special with themselves, and then impact every other individual that they ever meet, ever. And as they do that, I've seen people go from side characters, absolute nobodies, to legends in the making. And once you have seen that, you cannot unsee it. Once you believe in a human being and see what it does to one, you cannot help but to continue the process. Once you give somebody the psychological skills and tools and the health-based practices for them to get their life right and their health right and watch them take off, there is no going back. You're in love with the game. So my conviction is coming from seeing that. And then in comparison to what I'm seeing on the media and what I'm seeing in the people's lives around me, living in Oklahoma with 48th worst health, 48th worst mental health. So it's time to start sharing and preaching a good message, baby. And I just want to absolutely express the highest level of appreciation to all of the patients in the past who've given me the wisdom, the motivation, the spark, and the people around me who believed in me as I got to also do this process of going from a nobody into somebody and the one in my own personal life. More to come, baby. Stay tuned.